Buongiorno a tutti, siamo qui oggi per parlare del brand Alpina. I would like to say that this is going to be this talk is going to be in English, but there is an interpreter and in time translation. Sarà in inglese il talk, però abbiamo un interprete a nostra disposizione e ci sono le cuffie per chi ha bisogno della traduzione in italiano. Che chi la necessitasse, le cuffie sono lì. Quindi aspetto che siate tutti equipaggiati. Okay, I would like to welcome Oliver van. I have to read it. I'm so sorry because I remember Oliver, but
Oliver will do.
Oliver van Lanschot Hubrecht, the brand director of Alpina watches, and Pietro Bolletti. Oh my God, Enrico Bolletta, because Pietro is Enrico's brother, so or cousin. And Direttore Commerciale Citizen Watch Italy. We would have liked to welcome also Marcello Borsetti, the commercial director of Citizen Watch Italy, but he's flying, somewhere around the world now.
Yes.
Just a moment.
Can you hear me?
Your microphone?
Oh, my microphone, yeah.
Sorry, we have two microphones for the Instagram Live. It's okay.
So now you can hear me on Instagram as well. I hope.
So yeah, I would like to welcome also our Instagram followers on the live on our channel. Well, thank you for joining us, and let's start saying that the Alpina name is no coincidence, since the brand was founded in the late 19th century as Alpina Union Horlogère, whose members were all mountaineers, right?
Very true. So first of all, hello everybody. Thank you for welcoming me, Dody. It's a pleasure to be here in Vicenza. It's a special moment for Alpina, as we're launching in Italy. And it's true that we have a very special history. We were born in the Alps 141 years ago as a watchmaking union. Indeed, the founding members were coming from the watchmaking industry. They were different actors. They were like movement manufacturers, component manufacturers, even retailers in there. And it happens to be that the founding members were alpinists. So as you say, and for the little story, alpinists, they climb together, roped together. So if one falls, then the others can catch them back on track. And it's a little bit the idea of the Union Horlogère, is that you're stronger together. And they were really pioneers at the time.
Yeah, it's a special story. I must say, different from some other brands, traditional brands in Switzerland. And well, that's why you're started focusing since the beginning on technical watches, from aviator to divers watches. Where at the time were the movements produced in-house?
Yeah, so very true. Originally, indeed, it was a watchmaking union bringing all these competencies together. Then started very quickly to produce their own movements, Alpina movements, and encasing them in pocket watches at the time. Very interestingly so, Alpina Union Horlogère was also producing movements for other brands. Even Rolex at the time were using Alpina-based movements. So it's a super big history over there. Quite quickly, after the manufacturing of movements, Alpina also started developing watches. Being alpinists at the time, they also wanted to create the sports watch, by creating a resistant watch that could resist to the harshness and the challenges given by the alpine environment. And that's what the objective and the mission of the brands was. When others were working on complications, at calendars, chimes, and so on, Alpina was really looking at the resistance of the watch and actually defined the sports watch as we know it today?
Well, it's a long history, and I wanted this introduction since for the first time, finally, Alpina is back on the Italian market. So going on in the years, the brand had to stop the production in the 70s, like many Swiss brands. That's why maybe some contemporary watch enthusiasts didn't hear about the brand's history for a while. But in 2002, the brand was acquired by the Aletta and Peter Stas, two Dutch I can't say this word. I can't say this word, never.
I'm sorry, you're making the effort here in English, right? I mean,
Thank you. So the founders are Frédéric Coston. What happens after that?
Yeah, so very well explained. Indeed, the Alpina brand had a huge success and huge history in the first half of the 20th century. Then indeed disappeared because of the quartz crisis in the beginning of the 1980s. So in 1982, Alpina ceases its activities. And then basically nothing happens for the next 20 years. To come to Peter and Aletta Stas, that's another success story. So they founded their company later, so in the late, basically the late 1980s, early 1990s. And they really saw a gap in the market, you know, to create accessible luxury watches. But their DNA was super classical, elegant. It was really recognizable DNA. And of course came a moment where they also wanted to develop and sell sports watches. But to keep the DNA of the Frédéric Constant brand, they didn't want to start selling, you know, sports watches. So the question came, what do we do? Shall we create a new sports watch brand, or should we acquire an existing name and then rebuild it with sports watches, with the same idea of creating accessible sports watches? And that's what they did. They found out that Alpina was not used, was actually sleeping for 20 years, and they acquired it. And then in 2002 and 2003, they were back in Baselworld with their first sports watch collection under the Alpina brand name. That's the story.
And it's a very modern story, let's say. And the whole story is like two personalities of the brand with one fil rouge, that is the sport, right?
Correct. Yeah. So we're really today. I mean, we're sister brands. So Frédéric Constant keeps, you know, the classical, elegant DNA and design, very recognizable. And now Alpina is really the sports watch brand that still keeps the DNA of Alpina. So strong, resistant, sturdy watches, but at accessible prices. And now it's led, you know, by its heritage, of course, but then also with a new direction, which is led by the extreme case design.
Can you tell us the price range of Alpina at this point?
Yeah, thank you, Dody. I think this is an interesting topic as well. I think we all know that these last years, prices have really been increasing in the industry. Some, you know, almost 40% within the last 2 to 3 years with no real added value. So Alpina, we're really priced between 1,000 and 3,000 euros, with most of the references between 1,200 to 2,500. We have quite a tight collection, so there are 50 references in the collection, very well organized, you know, air, land, and sea, universes in which we have credibility and history within, and we really fill a gap on the market. So today you don't find very many sports watch brands that have value within this price segment. A lot of the competition has gone up without necessarily giving value, or otherwise, of course, you find sports watches brands at inferior price. So we're really being successful and developing distribution now within that price range.
Well, I would like to ask now Enrico, and sorry for the mismatch before. After Citizen's acquisition of the Frédéric Constant Group a few years ago, right?
Oh, sorry. In 7 years ago, exactly.
Yeah. So the Italian distributor of the group's brands goes indeed to Citizen Italy.
Yeah.
Is now passes
Correct.
to Citizen Italy. However, Alpina had never been launched before in our market, and even Citizen waited a while to do so. So
Exactly.
why? I mean, 7 years you've been thinking about distributing the brand in Italy?
We made a deep thinking about it. Yes, we decided this in order for 2 reasons mainly. The first one, we wanted to start to settle luxury distribution with Frédéric Constant at the beginning, and we took time to do it in a proper way. And the second reason is because we were waiting that the international collection were closer to Italian taste, because we want a very European Italian taste. And part of the collection in the beginning of the brand was not suitable for our market, in our opinion. And the recent direction that Geneva gave to the brand is very suitable for our market. And this is the reason why we decided this is the right moment to have also the sporty brand Alpina in Italy.
Oliver, did they have to push to obtain that?
So I think it was a little bit of a two-way thing. So I think indeed, I mean, the collection today are really representative. We're going back to horological, heritage direction, which is really explaining also where we come from. Strong, extreme automatic and mechanical watches. And I think we really found suddenly the time where we meet the Italian market. So indeed, Enrico and Marcello have been coming to Geneva and saying, yeah, no, not yet, it's not quite right, it's not quite right. So of course we also listen to the markets, we also listen, you know, to what's expected. And I think we're spot on right now.
You know, Italy is a very challenging market, and therefore we need the brands with a strong identity. And I think Alpina made the right way in the last 2 years, and now we are ready to start also in Italy for this brand, and we are very happy to do it.
And are you happy about it? Because years ago there was this saying that a product that works in Italy, that is successful in Italy in watchmaking, that product will be successful all over the world.
So I didn't know that saying, but I'm convinced it must be true. And I'm super happy because, of course, we are a brand that comes from the Alps. It's an alpine brand. That's where we come from. Italy, of course, is an alpine country. We have in our collection, obviously, alpine watches, but then diver watches. I think the product, indeed, it all starts by the product, and it's very strong, I think, collection and suitable for the market, as you say. So and of course, you know, we've got Citizen Distribution over here with luxury brands, actually building a dedicated team as well. So we have a lot of experience here on the market as well, very experienced people. With strong networks, so I think we have everything to be in hand to be successful.
Yeah, you just mentioned the network. So where is Alpina available today? And that I know you just started, but which is your project for the brand? Will it be easy to find Alpina in Italy?
It will be easy, but not so easy, because especially at the beginning, we want a very selected distribution. And we will approach, for the first part, only 50 boutiques in Italy, only 50 retailers exclusive for Alpina in Italy. Then we will enlarge and grow in the future years, of course, but at the beginning we want to keep it very selective, because Alpina has a strong identity, a huge heritage, and we need a member who can explain and tell a fantastic storytelling, and explain also the modern course of the brand with a so special design.
Oliver, can I ask you which is the volume of production of Alpina, to have an idea?
So we don't communicate directly on volumes, unfortunately. But what I can say is that we're really in a growth stage. Today, or this year, we're going to be growing by approximately 30%. So we all know that the market today, you know, is a little bit, you know, morose, as you say in French. But we're developing distribution, we're a new brand, we're really growing, we're establishing our collection. So we're really opening doors internationally in the US and in France, of course Italy as well. And also our collection now that we relaunched really with a new direction in 2022 is starting to be recognized, is starting to be asked for. Even in Italy, I think we had many people coming, yeah, when is the brand available? When is the brand available? So we're really looking at strong growth. So you should see like in the next 3, 4, 5 years, we're going to be pretty much doubling the business.
Well, that's huge.
That is huge.
Enrico, do you have special projects for the Italian market with Alpina?
Of course we have, but we cannot disclose here.
Oh, come on. You knew I was going to ask this.
No, our project is, of course, to have a deep job on brand awareness. So we are going to invest in media, social media, and of course, all the channel that can help us to know people, know the brand. And besides this, we are going to prepare an e-learning platform so that our partners can easily reach and communicate all the concept of the brand. We think this is a key point because we are a brand with contents, not only with appearance, but a lot of contents, and we want to transmit and communicate to the final consumers.
Yeah, I guess this is why you're here at VO24 because it's.
That's right.
It's the only big event in Italy dedicated to the final consumer. Actually, how did you decide to take part in VO24?
Well, we already participated last year with Frederic Constant, and we saw a lot of interest. So many young, passionate collectors. Very well informed. I was surprised that so young people came back to the watch business or to watch market, and I was impressed with it. So when we decided to start with Alpina in Italy, we decided to confirm our participation to VO24, but we required and we asked for 2 booths in order to have also space for Alpina, and we are happy of this decision because already in these days we saw a lot of interest for both brands, but especially for the new one.
So we can say that this is the launch event for Alpina.
It is.
In Italy.
It is. We started September 1st, so the week is not yet completed, and we are here.
Good. Oliver, besides modern sports watches, you produce a heritage line that revives past designs, and I have an example here on my wrist that I'm so happy you lended me for this occasion. Sorry.
It looks wonderful on you.
Thank you. I do think so. Yeah, I think I'll keep it. So. Is the use of in-house movements planned for this collection?
So indeed, to start on heritage, we have a dedicated heritage collection. We launch 1 piece per year. Last year, for the 140th anniversary, we launched a square carré watch. For the story as well, we launched it in a very limited edition of 28 pieces using a historical movement, an old stock that we had purchased from a service center in Switzerland that had ceased its activities. So that's actually an in-house movement, but of the period, AL 490. So that's the story. Now, today, we're launching, of course, the 38 millimeter that you're wearing. So with an Art Deco dial, really reminiscent of the 1930s. Looks super nice as well. To come to your question on in-house movements, our price point now is really 1,000 to 3,000. We really want to keep that positioning. We always come with ideas. People come, yeah, can we not put a perpetual calendar, manufacture movement in the extreme case, or come, with some mono pusher development or something like that. And we always have to hold ourselves back for the moment, not to go too quickly, not to go out of our price range. But this, you can expect, obviously, this to evolve and to come within the next years. That's for sure. We had manufacture movements in the past. In the more recent history of Alpina, we had a bumper movement, we had a flyback chronograph in-house developed. We even had a tourbillon in the original Extreme, but now we're focusing on this price point, and we try not to go too quickly. But you can expect it to come, of course.
Well, good to know. Well, it's developing very fast, so it's going to be interesting to follow the novelties from Alpina. Now, then I'm going to ask you, Kurt, what movements are you using now?
Okay, so most of our movements are Selita-based. So we have, for the moment, the different variations of Selita. We just launched last week also at Geneva Watch Days a skeleton Alpina Extreme, which is also a Selita-based. So for the moment, this is what we're using.
Well, let's not forget to say that Alpina has its own manufacturer in Geneva, and that also the manufacturer actually is expanding, isn't it?
Yeah, correct. So we have the manufacturer in Geneva, so we have all the in-house capabilities, have development in-house, production of components in-house as well, and then final assembly. So we benefit from that, of course, thanks to Frédéric Constant as well, who we share the resources, we share also the development capabilities. So we have the chance of having that, and that is in development. You can see many things coming out. So of course, you can expect things to come.
I'm going to ask you this to the two of you, to both. The Citizen Group is maintaining independence and the identity of all the brands it controls, because the brands go from Bulova to Frédéric Constant, Citizen itself, and I'm going to ask Enrico to name all of them, please.
You touch a key point, because I think the right decision of Citizen is, after the acquisition of all these brands, is to respect the DNA of all of them. In case of Frédéric Constant and Alpina, all the strategic decisions are taken in Geneva. All the product development is made in Geneva. All the assembling, the manufacturing is all made in Geneva. Citizen is an owner of all brands, has a possibility to invest superior to the private investor, of course, and made his first investment in the production, doubling the production capacity, building a new manufacturer building. But respecting the DNA of the brand means also to go on to maintain the direction that was launching both brands in the world.
I would like to explain something about Citizen to those who don't know about it. We're not just talking of a watch manufacturer, but Citizen produces machines, the machines that are used in most of the Swiss factories to make watches, and they are specializing in titanium. So the new titanium alloys that are used in watchmaking have been developed by Citizen. Tell me if I'm wrong. So what we are saying is that when a group like this decides to invest on a brand, we can expect big things, right? And
let's say the best is yet to come.
I would like to ask if someone in the audience has a question now, and I will give you the microphone if you are not shy.
Good afternoon, firstly. Okay. I'm a watch passionate, of course, and I used to buy almost every brand. I have no resistance on buying a watch just for the passion in the making and studying and having new models and so on. So I also have some Citizen in my collection in automatic. I also have an Alpina that I bought in the US last year, because in the US I've seen a lot of shops having Alpina. And my concern is just related on the capability also to give to the market something that have exactly the Italian taste, as you said before. This is very nice. Even is bold, is a sporty watch. As I said before, I would like to have everyone, so I can change it like a shirt, you know. So you can, you can buy everything. I'm asking if you are in your mind to develop something less sporty. So something that has the sporty. I don't want to make like Rolex that is sporty but as well as classic and suitable for everyone in terms of.
Do you mean a sports chic watch?
Sport chic, but yes, not so extreme. This is very nice, but it is related to sporty people, and you need to have the status to wear something like this. If you want to go to also to drive in a city, you need something simple, even with the sporty accent or features.
Yeah, so it's a good question. Already good to hear that you purchased an Alpina. Thank you. In the US, indeed, we're quite developed over there.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Not
okay.
last year, 2 years ago.
Okay, so let's speak about the collection. Indeed, we've got this organization, air, land, and sea, and then the heritage pillar. The design is mainly led indeed today by the extreme case design that I'm wearing over here, which is very sporty, which indeed, is quite powerful, quite, strong. So it's quite far away from a more classic watch design, that's for sure. Then, of course, we also have the pilot's watch design, which is the Star Timer collection, which is a little less, let's say, edgy and powerful than the Extreme. So you can, of course, have a look at these watches, which are really nice as well, available in three-hand automatic, thin case, leather straps, and so on. So that's probably something that could speak to you. Then the Heritage collection as well. If you're looking at this, it looks pretty classic as well. So, and then you can expect more of that to come as well. So the Star Timer collection has been, now for a few years within, so you can expect some developments to come in that direction as well. So we're always looking at that, Indeed, the sports watch at the time, was so different. It really looked like a classic watch from a dress watch from today. So there's a lot to play with at that level. And of course, the Extreme is today the strongest part of the collection. But of course, we're not going to be forgetting also about developing other styles, other to suit other tastes as well. But always keeping the DNA of Alpina in mind.
Yeah.
But
so you are going to also to grab something from your past, modernizing calibers or.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's again, we're launching one heritage product per year. Some are look very heritage indeed, and then some a little bit less so. So this you can really see the inspiration from the 1930s over here. So this Art Deco dial, but the original watch was much smaller. I think it was like 29 millimeter, 28, something like that. And now you're in 38. So we always adapt it, of course, to modern taste, so that it's also suitable on today's wrist, and that it suits today's taste, of course. But it's always the same. When you come with a 38 millimeter, people come to you and you said, you should have really kept the 34, the original. If you come with a 34, somebody will say, no, you should have come with a 38 millimeter. So it's always a little bit that type of thing. So,
well,
thank you.
Thank you. Sorry. Well, the diameters are going smaller now, but not as small as 34, I guess.
Well, who knows?
I think it's early for 34 on a man's wrist.
Maybe not, but depends a little bit on the country, on the taste, and so on. But it's an interesting question.
Well, our time is over, and I would like to thank you very much for this talk, and I would like to invite everybody to come to your booth here at VOC24 to have a closer look to the watches that we have seen on the screen. But as I like to always remind, you have to see a watch in your hand, on your wrist. You have to handle it, and
that's what we're here for.
And Enrico and Oliver will be very happy to welcome you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dody. Thank you all for attending and also online. So
Everybody
thank you very
welcome
much.
to our booth.